How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So I was about to hard coat this old tombstone of mine, and I was recently asked to make a video about some of the painting methods that I use, some tips and tricks I can give on aging to make it generally realistic looking. And it actually worked out because I was already planning on hard coating and repainting a lot of my older tombstones and columns. So yeah, I'll go ahead and show you guys how I paint these. So before I put the hard coat on, I wanted to show you guys how I make these tombstones. Like I said, this is one of our older tombstones. We have around 20 to 25 of them, and they're all made out of this denser 3-inch foam that we order online. And I can put a link in the description to where we get the foam. But basically, I'll cut out a shape that I want. I'll add a base to it, another pop outs of foam where I want it. And then I'll use a wood burning tool to get these cracks and other aging in different places. And then I'll also use that wood burning tool to cut out and carve out these lettering on the front. You can also see on the back all the cracks and stuff. But yeah, I plan on repainting this once I hard coat it to make it look more realistic, and then the hard coat will help protect the foam even more. Alright, so I just finished hard coating the tombstone with the Flex Bond mortar, and I'm about to put a base coat of paint on it. I mixed up a light gray with a tiny bit of brown in it. I didn't want it too dark because I'm going to be aging the tombstone with black. I'm going to be using a pneumatic spray gun, and I watered down the paint before I put it in there, and it's set around 30 to 35 psi, and that should help get in all the cracks and paint the entire tombstone a nice gray color. Now that I have a good base coat of that light gray on there, the next step is using a watered down black to age it. Now this is about 3 or 4 spoonfuls of just normal black outdoor water-based paint, and then I put in quite a bit of water and mixed it together, so you can see that's about the consistency that you need. And I'll show you how I apply it to the tombstone now. Alrighty, so I've got my watered down black here, just an old paintbrush, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dip my paintbrush in there, get a bunch of that in there. I'll kind of squeeze it out a little bit so it's not too watery, and then I'll take that and I'll go along the top, and I'll just let it drip down. You can see there. Let it go down. There's no pattern you need to follow, you just need to go on there. And then I'll take just a napkin, and I'll blot a lot of it off, try to wipe some of this down. And I'll keep on blotting it until I get most of it off. It gives it that older look. Now I'll do that for the rest of the tombstone, and then I'll go back over it again and make some more defined like drip marks. So yeah, I'll go ahead and show you guys the entire process. So once I'm done with the watered down black, I typically like taking some black spray paint, or you could put some black paint in like the spray gun. The spray paint works because it's now hard coated, so it won't melt away the foam. But I typically like taking some and going along underneath some of the edges just to darken up the aging even more. And then sometimes if you get too much on there, I'd immediately wipe it off, because spray paint likes sticking onto it. Alright, so your next step is taking some watered down brown and putting it in the spray gun, and this is going to be the next aging part of the tombstone. Now, you need to be really careful with the brown because a little bit goes a long way, but it's honestly up to you how much brown you want to use. It looks cool when it's on there. I'll show you. Here we go. Alright, so this next step is probably my favorite. I'm using the green now and I've got it watered down in the spray gun. So I'll go ahead and show you guys how I do that. So because it's Halloween and it's normally dark out when you're displaying all your stuff, you gotta accent some things a little more than usual. So I'm gonna take some black with a small paintbrush and I'm gonna go in throughout all the cracks in the lettering just to darken them up so you can see them a little better at night. Alright, so once you've finished with all the black, as you can see I've got it in the cracks and in the lettering, I'm going to take the light gray that I used for the base coat and I'm going to dry brush. You can see I already kind of started along here. I'm going to dry brush along the entire thing and that'll help bring out the stone texture of the tombstone. It'll also lighten some areas too and help blend everything together. Alrighty, so when you're dry brushing, you want very minimal paint on the paintbrush. And then, like it says in the name, you want it to be relatively dry as well. So you're going to take a tiny bit of paint. You might need to wipe it off so there's not a lot of paint on the paintbrush. And then you're going to quickly hit the edges of different things, not putting too much pressure on it. And that'll help bring out the texture that we got from the hard coat. And that's also another reason why I like hard coating it, is that you can get a really nice stone texture as well. So I'll go ahead and finish that up for you guys. So now that the dry brushing is done, I'm now going to add some lichen on there. And I took the old base coat paint and added a tiny bit of green to it just to get it to a little bit of a green tint. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take this old brush and just go around in certain places, splotch it on, and that's basically what lichen looks like, just blotches of color in different places. So I was going to do that around different parts of the tombstone to make it look even older. Now that I've got the lichen on there, I'm now going to take some green in a paintbrush and then go along the bottom and wherever else just to make it look even more aged, like nature is just taking over this tombstone. Alrighty, so I just finished with the greens, then I also did a little bit of brown in some areas, and then went over with the dry brush color along some parts of the tombstone as well, just to finish it off. But yeah, so it's pretty much done now. Here's the front, and I'll show you the back. Here's the back. We use a similar painting technique for a lot of our other props. You can see the angel over there, very similar to this tombstone. But yeah, I hope you guys found this helpful. We have some other build videos and tours of our haunt on our YouTube page, so go ahead and check those out if you haven't already. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Happy Halloween, happy haunting. We'll see you guys next time.